All right, I think I'm live. I'm not sure. There we go. I think I'm live now. Um, I'll just wait a while because I can see there's two people and it's not quite 10:30, and you may just have to fast forward this if you're looking at it later until I get to actually getting started. So what I've got here is I'm going to use REPL for this. It's frictionless. I'm going to log in with my school email, hopefully. Can't remember. Ooh. Wait, no, I just clicked that. Now, I've got a bunch of questions that I'm going to answer in a sec. So I'll just log in. I'll bring those questions up. So these are the things that I've been asked about. I'm pretty sure I covered locked doors in a previous video. I'll check though in a sec because it's in my thing. Won't check the key. I'll show you how to fix that. Pitch black room, a room you can't enter without a light. It's essentially the same as a key, except the light is the key. Health, or you could have an alternative description that doesn't let you do anything in that room. How to have player health. And then lastly, I didn't quite understand this question. I have a question. How do you get the game to start straight away instead of having the person have to type something to start the game? I'm not sure what that means, so I'll try and interpret it in a way that makes sense. Okay, so I've got this here. Oops, no. Where is it? No, that's not it. I have a folder called assessment somewhere. What are they? That's not multiplayer, unnamed. This looks like, this isn't mine. I'll log out, I'll try my other account. Maybe it's that one. Oh yeah, it's this one. Okay, that's all right. All right, so assessment. And 3 weeks ago, I've done it since then. So this is where I was up to in my previous videos, which weren't live. They were just I recorded them, and this is what I got up to. Now, you're going to get a whole lot of this underscore stuff. It doesn't mean it's an error. It just means that currently when is not defined, and it's not part of normal Python. Or it may be defined from the start import adventure library. I don't know if there's a way to disable that because it's kind of annoying. It doesn't look like I can just off the top of my head here. There may be a way to do it. Settings, code intelligence, disable. I'm actually going to disable that. There we go. So that'll get rid of that, which means it's much easier for me to read. So I'll go back to wherever I was, files. Okay, so the first question that I had was, how do I deal? I'm actually going to come back to that one. I'm going to reorder these. That one is going to be there. I have a question, how to get the game. Okay, I'll try and explain this one. I don't really know what it means. If you can explain it, then whoever asked this question, you know who you are, then just try to rewrite this in a different way, because there's no way to run a program without either typing something or double clicking something. So I assume that you mean maybe give the player the initial description. So if I click run on this one, you'll see that I don't think it says anything for mine. It might just have the look bit there. Oh yeah, so it already says this stuff here, and I assume that's what you mean. How do you make it do that without just giving this here? And that's pretty easy. Down in the main function, I just called the look function, which I wrote, and the look function just explains to them or says what the current room is. So it just says what the current room is. That was my look function. Yours might be a little bit different. It might not show the items. It might not show the exits. But it should print the current room. So there's a few ways you could do it. You could actually just print current room in here. Or you could just call the look function. So I assume that's what that one means. Just give me a sec. All right. So what we've got here is the second question there is a pitch black room. I'll do the key one. Actually, I'll explain Teague's one. I'll go back to that. So locked doors. This one here, I'm pretty sure I have a locked door thing. And Teague, you might see what the issue is with yours here. So for example, no, I haven't actually done that one. So I'll do it now. I'll explain how to do it. I think in mine, you cannot move to the escape pods without having a key. Okay, so you can't move into the escape pod itself, so this room here, without having a key. So I'll do that there. So I'll put in something like at when enter. Actually, I'll make it connect. I'll make it connect, and then it'll be a locked door between them. Okay, so escape pods dot south equals escape pod. I think I've got escape pods and then escape pod. So south of the escape pods is the escape pod, the single one that you can enter. And I'll just add a description here. There is a keypad here, so this is actually locked. So I might actually just leave that for now. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to be able to unlock that door. There's a few different things that I could do here. So if I do this here, I'll go this is the go direction one. And like I said, I'm just winging this. I'd have prepared, I know what I want to do, but I want to actually check beforehand. Okay, if current room equals escape pods and direction equals south, should be double there. So you've got to check these things first, which is the opposite of what you did, Teague. You just did this first. And that way, if the room exit exists, it will let you go through it, even if you don't have the key. So you want to check for this stuff first. So in here, I'm going to say print, the door is locked. You need to enter the code. Okay, and I'll add another variable here, and escape pod locked equals true. So I'll add that variable at the top. Variables here, escape pod locked. There are more efficient ways to do this, of course, but I'm trying to keep it simple here. So the door is locked, you need to enter the code. elif, actually I don't need to do that, because as soon as that becomes unlocked, this whole statement becomes untrue and I'll be able to move through it. So what I'm going to do here is at when use key code on lock. That'll do. There might be a whole lot of different ways I could type that in. Def unlock escape pod print you enter the code into the lock. Now, of course, I would have to check if they have the code. I might even ask them for the code, and that what I might say, what is the code or whatever, have them type something in there. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. You enter the code into the lock. I'm going to add the connection here, escape pods.south equals escape pod. So I've actually added that connection now. So I didn't add it at the top. Remember, I removed it. Escape pods.south. This will be the same for a locked door as well. So except you wouldn't have key code, you might have use key on lock. And then I will also say escape pod locked equals false. Now if I run this, and I haven't run this game, played this kind of through for a while. Sorry, that should be all lowercase. Use key code on lock. Of course I have to have the key code, but I'm not going to worry about it now. It'll let me in. So if I go go west, go south, I'm in the escape pods. There is a small wall of escape pods. Most of them have been used. One remains. There is a keypad here. There are exits to the northwest. I thought I said there was one to the south. I thought I said that. Oh, no. Okay, I haven't said that. So I probably want to add that in there somewhere. But if I type go south again, the door is locked. You need to enter the key code. Use key code on lock. You enter the code into lock, go south. Okay, so it still says that, but it does actually let me go through. So I'm wondering why it still says that. The door is locked. Where is it? If current room equals escape pods, end direction equals south, and escape pod locked. Print that. Not sure why it did that. Escape pod locked equals true, because it's not. Oh, okay, up here. Global escape pod locked, and that'll let me change the one that I defined above. So that's kind of your lock bit, lock and unlock thing. It would work with different things. There are so many different ways to do this as well. I've seen people do it differently, but that is one way that you could do it. There are multiple ways you could do this. You could have the connection in there already and just have a variable that says it's locked, and when they unlock it, they go through. Or you could just check to see if they have the key, and then say you unlock it with the key and go through, and let them go through only if they have the key, and kind of skip out that intermediate use key code bit. There's so many different things you could do there. Now the next one was a pitch black room. Can't enter without a light. Okay, so let me think how I might do this. I'll add another room here off the bridge. I'll just call it dark room equals room. This room is too dark to see. Okay, and it's going to be bridge.east equals dark room. I'll add an item, torch equals item, torch. I won't worry about a description for it, and I'm going to add that to the player's inventory. I'll just add it to the inventory right at the start. Inventory.add torch. Okay, so yeah, that should be fine. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just testing this out. I'm going to make it so that when turn on torch, def torchlight, if room equal, if current room equals dark room. Okay, hold on, I'll just check the chat in a sec. I can see out the corner of my eye there's a whole bunch of stuff there. If current room equals dark room, and inventory.find torch, print, you turn on the torch. Maybe something like this, print, you find a light switch and turn it on. Print, the room lights up. And then I could do this, dark room dot description equals the lights are on. Okay, so I can actually change the description of that game. Now what will happen here, if I run this, hopefully I got everything correct. Invalid syntax, I have to keep doing a single equals. I'll run this. And you're standing in the bridge, lights flash, blah, blah, go west, no, go east this time. Go east, this room is too dark to see, there are exits to the west. If I turn on torch, you turn on the torch, you find a light switch and turn it on, the room lights up. And now if I look, the lights are on. Okay, so I can change the description of the room. You could just make it if the player has the torch in their inventory, or is holding a torch or whatever, then you could print a different description in the look bit. So you could say here, right at the start, if current room equals dark room and player has the torch, then print a certain thing. Otherwise, just do the rest of it. So there's multiple ways to do that. The next question I had, I think I covered that. I'm pretty sure I explained what the issue with that was, but I'll just check the chat here. Yeah, Braden, just go back and watch the previous videos. They're all on YouTube. Ryan, yes, they're true, but at the moment I'm just kind of going through simple things. And to get achieved, remember, it needs to work on expected inputs. So unexpected inputs, it can still work. Okay, it can still have those unexpected things, and you can still get achieved. I know most of you should be able to get achieved with this, but if you're aiming for more than achieved, then yeah, you need to take care of those errors that would let you do things that won't actually or shouldn't actually happen. What about if you want to have multiple locked doors? Yep, just have multiple different keys, multiple variables. That would be the way that I would do it. Okay, the next question was health. Okay, how can you set the player's health? And I'm just going to quickly open up the Adventure Library tutorial for this because it kind of gives a pretty decent little explanation of it, and I'll bring it up. Input prompt, this is what I want. Okay. So to do this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this chevron with the player's health in there. So I'm going to have their health in there. But to do it, I need to import Adventure Lib. I actually need to import the entire library. And then down here somewhere, I hope that's not kind of glitching when I scroll through. I'm scrolling through pretty quick. As long as it's in this bit, I'm going to type def prompt. It doesn't need an @when. And in here, it's going to return HP and then the chevron like that. And I'll put the F in front of that. Oops, yeah. So that should be right. Now, what is HP? Well, I'm not going to teach you how to use the hit points, but I'll show you how to create them. So here I might go HP equals 10. Now, if you have something that attacks the player and it gets down to 0 or whatever, then you're going to have to figure out a way to check those things. But if I run this now, that didn't actually work. Why not? Def prompt. Oh, okay. My mistake. Just here. Add adventure lib dot prompt equals prompt. And that should make it say the prompt that comes from Adventure Lib is equal to this prompt here. So if I run it, so there it says 10 HP. So now if I go into the dark room, for example, maybe I could, or maybe when the lights turn on, I say print the torch burns your hand, and then I could say global HP minus equals 5, and I'll click stop and I'll run that. So if I turn on torch, nothing happens. I'll go east, turn on torch. You turn on the torch burns your hand. I now have 5 HP in there. So you could do loads of stuff with this, but this is one way to display the health points to the user. So you can actually change that prompt down there. You could actually put the name of the room that you were in as well in that little prompt. There's lots of things you can do with that in changing that. Let's see, what else have we got? Because I've only got a few minutes left. I think that was all. So if there's any other questions, where would I put the A equal? Oh, sorry, the chat's gone. How would I change the error? It just says you can't go that way. Okay, so if you want to change that error message, so where's my one here? In here. Okay, so in here, I said that's the door is locked, you need to enter that. This is the normal one, so just the normal movement. Else, print, you can't go that way. Now I could change this. I could say you can't go that direction. And if I run this now, and if I try to go north from the starting location, go north, it says you can't go that north. That doesn't make sense. You can't go. I'll run that again. Go south. You can't go south. Go north. You can't go north. Go east. I can go east. You go east. Okay, so that's one way you could change that. There is, in the actual Adventure Code tutorial, in customizations, down the bottom, there is a bit that lets you actually change the error message. Okay, so that will let you change the error message if you put that in. You can't just put that function, you have to import AdventureLib at the top. You have to put that down in the main bit, and then this bit here, you put somewhere and you can put a whole lot of errors. But that will replace, what that will replace is the this error. If I type that, it'll say something different from there. You'll have to send me your code, Matthew. You'll have to send me your code, and I can have a look. I suspect it's something to do with the way you've written this. If you've just put in direction like that, then that will cause an error. You can't do that, because then it just picks up any single word that you type in. So I'll demonstrate. If I type look, oh, okay, that actually does work. But if I type bag, you can't go bag. Eat, you can't go eat, because it's picking up this. Anything I type in is picking it up as direction if it doesn't match anything else. So you can't just have direction by itself. You'd have to have go direction or travel direction or whatever. All right, I think that's enough. I'll finish up there. I've got to get ready for the level 2 one in a couple of minutes. If there's any questions, make sure that you send them through again, and I'll be on same time tomorrow. I'll do a bit more of this, and I'll add in some extra features on mine and finish it up. I'll go through it, make sure it all makes sense. And if you're stuck, you didn't know anything that I was talking about here, go back and look at the previous videos that I did on the Adventure Library stuff. But that'll take me to the end. See you later.